Let's take a look at scheduling a program for a washing machine. So what I've done here is I've created a project called a scheduling worksheet. This is what we're doing. And so my first level of scheduling is my program blocks. Okay. So what we have right here is our main block, and that is OB1, and that is scheduled with a pretty high priority, I guess. It runs every scan. This runs continuously unless it's interrupted by something else. So because we're doing a washing machine, I'm going to take this main right here and I want to rename it. So we're going to call this washing machine. So my main OB just became washing machine, and you can imagine that inside of the main OB is going to be ladder logic and subroutine calling of subroutines and everything like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a new block right here, and I'm going to add an organizational block. And this organizational block, I'm going to call it map inputs. Okay, and I'm going to make this a program cycle, which means that it's similar to the washing machine OB over here, or the main OB, in that it gets scanned every time. It's just automatically scheduled and automatically scanned. And this one's going to be called map inputs. I'll create it, and you see that this has washing machine OB1 and map inputs OB123. These are going to get scanned. So when this goes, it will run this one first, which is map inputs, which we'll learn about later, and then immediately we'll go and it will run the washing machine, and then it will start over again, run this program block, and then run this program block continuous. Okay, now we're going to add another new block, and I'm going to call this one global, and I'm going to make it an organizational block. And what I want this to be is something that runs on startup. Okay, so I'm going to pick startup here and run that one. Okay, and now I have my global block here, which is OB100. So because this is a startup block, what this is going to do is when you cycle the CPU from on to off, which you could do right here, stop and then start. Every time you started the CPU, this global block would run for the first scan. It will run once every time that this starts up. So you're not going to have a lot of heavy-duty ladder logic in here, because it's not going to try and solve it and then update the scan and solve it and update the scan. It's just going to run once for one scan when we start it, and this might be some type of system check or something like that. So we cycle CPU, global runs once, and then it starts running this one and this one, and do it again, this one and this one. 123 OB1. It just keeps running those over and over and over again. Okay, and these are going to contain, the code that we want checked every time on every scan. And so now we're going to add one new block, and we're going to call this false, and we're going to call it an OB. And this is gonna, we got some other options here. You're gonna deal with hardware interrupts, everything. I guess we'll call it diagnostics error, and this is cyclical, and it will run when the diagnostics error has been interrupted. Okay, so this is going to have a priority, and it will run when we have diagnostics errors. So how we do this again? We go start, stop, and we will run this OB100 because that's a startup. It always does that first. Okay, and then it will start running it won't run this fault one. It'll just keep running 123.1, 123.1, 123.1, unless there's an error. If there's an error that we've tied to this OB82, then it will stop running 123 and 1, and it will run the error program block, and that will run until it's fixed, at which point it will jump back out of here and it will run the inputs in the washing machine like this. So that's probably how that error works. So that's kind of a little look at how some of these would be scheduled.